You're listening to the Cyberwire Network, powered by N2K.
Do you know how the space and cybersecurity domains connect? T-Minus Space Cyber Briefing is your guide through the space-based systems that expand the attack surface. I'm Maria Varmazis, host here at N2K Cyberwire, and I'm excited to share that T-Minus is back, now as a weekly podcast, the T-Minus Space Cyber Briefing. We have a new dedicated focus on two great things that are even better together, space and cybersecurity. Because whether we realize it or not, we all depend on space-based systems that are, by the way, increasingly internet-enabled. We're talking cybersecurity technologies, policies, and organizations that are securing the critical space-based infrastructure that powers, protects, and connects our lives here on Earth. So join me for T-Minus Space Cyber Briefing, new episodes every Sunday.
You said this place was steps from the water.
We just haven't found the steps yet.
How much did we save?
Enough.
Enough to get lost?
Or you could book a stay with Hilton.
Welcome to your oceanfront room, just steps from the water.
The Hilton sale is on now. Book on Hilton.com or the Hilton app and save up to 20% to get the stay you expected. When you want savings, not surprises, it matters where you stay. Hilton, for the stay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Caveat, N2K Cyberwire's privacy surveillance law and policy podcast. I'm Dave Bittner, and joining me is my co-host Ben Yellen from the University of Maryland Center for Cyber Health and Hazard Strategies. Hey there, Ben.
Hello, Dave.
On today's show, Ben discusses a lawsuit gone bad for a guy suing Facebook and some of its users. I've got the story of a California county suing Meta over scam ads. It's a meta show today, Ben. While this show covers legal topics and Ben is a lawyer, the views expressed do not constitute legal advice. For official legal advice on any of the topics we cover, please contact your attorney. Quick question. Have you watched Project Hail Mary yet? Humanity is facing an existential threat and racing to solve it with the clock ticking. For security teams, that probably hits close to home with AI use rapidly spreading. Everyone's using AI, marketing, sales, engineering. Chris the intern, without security even knowing about it. That's where Nudge Security comes in. Nudge finds shadow AI apps, integrations, and agents on day one and helps you enforce policy without blocking productivity. Try it free at nudgesecurity.com/cyberwire. All right, Ben, you and I both, without coordinating ahead of time, have come up with stories having to do with Meta. They got it coming, I guess.
They really do. Yeah, dealing with a lot of lawsuits. Right. I always love it when there's some theme to our cases because we really do not coordinate them.
That's right.
Ahead of time.
That's right. What do you got?
My story, it's frankly kind of fun, even though like some of it is not a laughing matter.
Yeah.
I can't help but just being entertained by this.
Okay.
So there's a guy named Nico D'Ambrosio who seems like he was a pretty bad date.
Oh.
He went out with a woman on one date, and it didn't go very well, and she intimated to him that, like, she didn't want to spend the night, and he sent some very rude text messages with a lot of bad words on it.
Oh.
And she posted those text messages in a Facebook group. It's local to Chicago. It's called Are We Dating the Same Guy? So it's basically a forum in which women in Chicago take screenshots of terrible things that has happened to their dates.
Right.
Instead of just taking the L here, which is what he probably should have done, and changed his behavior.
Moved on.
This guy decided to instigate a lawsuit. But the lawsuit was not just against the individual woman, but it was also against her parents because she made the post from her parents' house, so she was using their network. It was also against Meta basically the allegation was that Meta should be liable for amplifying the post for profit by boosting engagement. Now, why do you think engagement had been boosted here? It's because this thing was so vulgar.
Right. He kind of brought it on himself.
Yeah. And there are some details that might have helped his case. Like somebody else in the replies posted a picture of somebody who actually had been convicted for sexual assault. The person wasn't him, and nobody really knows why that commenter, who was anonymous, posted that in there. But his allegation was like, you're ruining my reputation by posting me with a known convicted sexual criminal.
I see.
So basically, his claim is that this not only harmed his reputation, which is the basis for the defamation claim, but that this was a form of doxing. Even though, well, one commenter I think said, like, where does this guy work? It was never really discussed after that, and nobody at any point mentioned his home address.
All right.
So he sues all these parties in court, and it goes poorly. It's in a federal district court because, for complicated reasons, the way he filed the suit against so many different parties, because a lot of them were out of state, it qualified for federal court. So it went to this federal district court. They dismissed it with prejudice, meaning like, this isn't some technicality, like your case sucks.
Okay.
You have failed to make a valid legal claim.
Well, let me just pause you for a second here for clarification on the law. Isn't the ultimate defense against defamation the truth?
Yeah, yes, it is.
And so
he never denied that he sent the text message in question.
Okay.
So, yes. I mean, that's
okay.
That's like problem 1 of 100 in his lawsuit here.
Is there any reasonable complaint that someone shares publicly what was intended to be a private correspondence?
I mean, the way the law is structured, that's just not really how it works. Like,
Okay.
you give up your reasonable expectation of privacy, and therefore any sort of Fourth Amendment and or property interest in those communications when you send it to somebody else. Like, that's just the risk you run.
I see.
It's not like you're sending it to a trusted company, a third party who's told you, like, we're going to keep your communication secret.
Right.
Like,
right. He didn't get her to sign a non-disclosure at the outset
Exactly.
of the date. Maybe he did. And
that's the risk. Like, you have to know that whatever text message you send to anyone, if they decided that it would be funny to publish it, there's really nothing that the legal system is going to do about it.
Okay.
But it gets worse because he appealed this case to the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals.
So wait. He gets it dismissed with prejudice.
Yes.
And he thinks his next smart line of action is going to be to appeal.
Yeah, again, that would have been another great opportunity to take the L here.
Okay.
I mean, look, sometimes you lose in district court. Now, he has the absolute right to appeal the dismissal of this case with prejudice.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the requisite filing fees hanging around, then, go for it. That's the way our legal system works.
Right.
But it was a really stupid decision, and it went very, very poorly because in drafting briefs, he relied on a law firm called Mark Trent AI.
Oh.
Which advertises heavy use of AI in legal work.
Oh.
The firm admitted that it used AI tools to draft the complaint and arguments.
I bet the judge loved that.
Oh, the judges were just thrilled. Just totally thrilled.
Okay.
And it claimed, like, this company claims that AI is more talented than actual lawyers, and like they can poke holes in the other party's arguments in ways that real lawyers can't. Like,
Sure.
It can comb through their briefs and try and find new angles that humans can't do.
Sure.
Yeah, so this went very poorly. It goes up to a 3-judge panel on the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, and the tone of this case is like, where do we even start with this guy? Like, I can't even believe this.
Yeah.
So the court found that the legal filings contained mistakes and fictitious quotations. It cited a whole bunch of cases that didn't exist, and it cited them with confidence. It showed, quote, hallmarks of the misuse of generative artificial intelligence, and it included errors that could have been caught with basic professional diligence. So the AI work basically invented fake legal authorities, produced questionable, unreliable legal reasoning and made mistakes that if there was just a single level of human review, like very, very basic stuff, then I think that human would have realized that this was a disaster and that they needed to go back to the drawing board. Maybe come up with a different prompt to put in your AI system.
Now, does this put the law firm in jeopardy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So that's where this is going. The court went through the facts of the case, said, like, we affirm the lower court's decision to dismiss this with prejudice, but that's not enough for this guy. You know, for most, if you have a reasonable case, but you lose out on the merits, you know, the court system is generally not going to punish you by issuing sanctions if you make a good faith argument.
Okay.
That's not what happened here. So there are probably going to be sanctions imposed on the attorneys who work for this AI law firm.
Yeah.
Assuming there are real human beings there. I mean, I'm kind of just picturing like an empty office with computers doing all the work. But basically, the judge admonished them and said, you can't submit filings with fake citations, and that as lawyers, you have a professional responsibility to verify the things you submit, regardless of whether you use AI or not. Like, feel free to use AI, but it's your responsibility to review things, and you are responsible if something goes wrong.
I mean, this would be the same if, say, a law clerk made the mistake, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Ultimately, you as the attorney, there's actually one really funny element to that. I was going to say, you as the attorney, you sign off on this brief, but the AI forgot to sign off on the brief. The little slot where they're supposed to sign and like affirm that they're representing their client, they just didn't do that.
There's a little string of
one
ones
of
and
those
zeros.
little things you just got to remember.
Wow.
There might be sanctions. It's kind of unclear what the sanctions are. The court is giving the lawyers an opportunity to defend themselves by basically coming up with an excuses brief. Like, give us your best argument for why we shouldn't punish you with sanctions.
Right.
But assuming that doesn't go well, then they might be responsible for all of the attorney's fees for the other party, and there could be additional sanctions. And they might also get in trouble with the State of Illinois Bar Association, where they could face ethical punishments. So long story short, AI is not going to take over the legal profession anytime soon because it's just not quite there yet.
Right.
There are things that are helpful. Like you can give it a 300-page chat log and say, find the incriminating conversations in here. And I think it might do a good job with something like that. But draft this brief and cite relevant citations is a recipe for disaster. And as long as that keeps happening, I don't think there are all these AI optimists in Silicon Valley who are like, every white-collar job is going to be eliminated in the next 12 months. It's like, well, I'll believe it when I see it because this keeps happening.
Yeah, I was at a trade show earlier this year down in Florida, and there was a company that had a booth, and their whole thing was the future of legal services, AI plus real lawyers.
I mean, I think there is something to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're showing me the logo here, and it's just spectacular.
Yeah.
I can put a link to that in our show notes. Yeah, I think there's something to that. I think if I were hiring attorneys to represent me, it would be my expectation that for certain tasks, certain good use cases, they would use AI. Right. I mean, ultimately, they are billing me. So if you can cut down on my billable hours by having AI perform a task that would take humans 3 to 4 hours, AI does it in 2 minutes.
Right.
Sure. Like I'll take that as an efficiency gain, but it just can't actually do the job. Like it's just not reliable enough at this point to submit briefs and make arguments in courtrooms.
Yeah.
Judges are becoming even more skeptical than they were and more frustrated because they keep seeing this. People keep trying to cut corners, and it's really, really bad for our legal system.
Right.
I mean, for one, like there are going to be some district court judges who themselves are overwhelmed or their clerks are overwhelmed, and maybe they miss something that's fake because generally you're supposed to be able to rely on competent lawyers to put together a legally valid brief. And we're going to get these instances where judges, maybe they don't do their due diligence, and then we're going to be formulating case law based on total BS. And it's just very bad for our legal system. What's funny about this is like using AI in his legal filings was bad, but even if he didn't, he was going to lose the case anyway. You can't sue people or platforms for negative opinions, like being called, quote, a bad date, which is what the person said. Section 230 also almost certainly immunizes Meta from a lawsuit here, since they can't be responsible for content posted on their platform.
Yeah.
But the cherry on top is having AI do this work without human review. It's just continues to be unacceptable, and people are just going to keep learning the hard way. Maybe it's the sanctions that they'll have to pay here that'll be the true lesson.
I'm thinking about Lionel Hutz from The Simpsons. And
Lionel Hutz totally would have used AI.
Right?
I move for a bad court thingy. Well, he's had it in for me ever since I kind of ran over his dog. Well, replace the word kinda with repeatedly and dog with son.
So, okay, here's my other silly question. You said a three-judge panel. Any chance we're going to go for an en banc?
No en banc for this one. This was a 3-0 decision. Yeah, I mean, this guy is welcome to try and petition for an en banc hearing,
right?
But that has not a chance of happening.
That's
usually the qualifications for the en banc aren't set in stone, but generally you have to have some type of dissent where it's possible that the full panel would see the case differently than 3 judges.
Yeah,
that's not the case.
It's
here.
not going to happen here.
Yeah, this is about as easy an appellate case as you're ever going to get.
Yeah. Oh well, bless his heart.
It is. I mean, I was actually reading the decision, and the tone of it is just hilarious.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
In this appeal, we affirm dismissal of a litany of claims arising from a few social media posts about the plaintiff's reportedly obnoxious behavior on dates after a breakup. Like, ooh, he body slammed him in that first sentence there. Not only is this guy submitting poor and unsuccessful potential lawsuits, but he's also a bad date.
Right.
And seems to be quite obnoxious.
There's a bit of the Streisand effect too, right? Because, it's all reported on now. So, and it's going to make it harder. If anyone, potential dates Google him, right?
Yeah, he might have to go petition the name change office, which also itself doesn't work usually, because if you go and they understand the reason that you're trying to change your name is like because you did something stupid and you want to escape the consequences of it, ultimately a judge has to approve that name change. So it's just not going to go well for this guy.
Yeah.
Long story short, yeah.
I love it.
Don't use AI in litigation. Also, send nicer texts. Let's not read people out with terrible swear words.
Right, like you said, take the L.
Take the L.
Just move on. Yeah. All right, we'll have a link to that story in the show notes.
Some things are impossible to miss, like an elephant in the room. Or a bull in a china shop. Or this season's amazing offers, brought to you by PayPal. Discover offers from hundreds of brands like Viator, Allbirds, and Tory Burch right in the PayPal app. Save an offer before you check out with PayPal and earn unlimited rewards. Download the PayPal app to get started. Terms and exclusions apply. See paypal.com/rewards terms.
My story this week is also meta adjacent, or probably a little more meta direct than than yours was. But there's a couple interesting elements here. So this comes from the San Jose Spotlight, which is a local media organization in San Jose, California.
Go Sharks. Yep.
Yeah, and Santa Clara County has filed suit against Meta, alleging that the company knowingly allowed scam ads to proliferate across Facebook and Instagram. And they're claiming the county is claiming that Meta weakened their fraud prevention efforts in order to preserve their advertising revenue. They allege that Meta earns about $7 billion annually from scam-related advertising. So not just advertising, scam-related advertising. And they get into some of the specifics here. Most of the scams are around, wait for it, cryptocurrency.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Total shocker.
There are impersonation schemes, fake investments, and fraudulent medical cures. I think anybody who's been on Facebook has seen all of these.
Yep, and it's 100 times worse than it was even 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, it is slop
and
through
it's
and
just,
through.
Yeah, it's so aggressive.
Yep.
So the complaint references are an investigation from Reuters back last year that linked Meta to 1/3 of successful internet scams in the U.S.
That's genuinely impressive. I feel like Ron Burgundy when I'm like, I'm not even mad. That's legitimately incredible.
Right. They claim that, again, the county claims that some scammers remained active despite being flagged more than 500 times. And the county says that Meta enforced what they call revenue guardrails that discourage removing scam ads if doing so would reduce revenue beyond a certain threshold. So the county is looking for attorney fees and a court order blocking these alleged violations of false advertising and unfair competition laws. Of course, Meta denies the allegations and says that Reuters mischaracterized their efforts to combat fraud. They say they've removed more than 159 million scam ads last year, and they plan to fight the lawsuit. What do you think of this,
Doesn't it seem
Ben?
like if they removed 159 million scam ads and they're still having these problems, doesn't that imply that there are billions of scam ads?
Exactly.
First of all, I want to know if Santa Clara County does win the case, what's going to happen with the $7 billion? Because, any jurisdiction would love to get their hands on that. That's a lot of money. It seems like they're not asking for that. They're just asking for attorney's fees and a declaratory judgment. But
yeah, I guess they want it to stop.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like, go for the big kahuna. You could always use it to upgrade your infrastructure, build housing. $7 billion is a lot of money. Look, I think there's a lot of merit to this case. You never know what's going to happen in court, but I think it's likely that this goes to litigation. The reason I think this has a decent chance of success is that Santa Clara County did the prep work and used this Reuters investigation to plausibly allege that this was intentional. Facebook was always going to have the defense that, we're doing our best. It's really hard. When you have a platform with billions of people, it's really hard to stop scammers. But this Reuters evidence that they knew that this was going on and they still put up guardrails not to cut down on fake advertising, but to protect their profits, that's a pretty serious allegation.
Yeah.
And I would be very interested to see this actually go to trial, though I suspect if Meta eventually thinks that it's not worth it for them to lose this case, then I think they could settle with the county for some amount of money plus attorneys' fees. But, I think Meta, for reputational purposes, might actually try and fight this. I say, and maybe this is my personal bias creeping in, good for Santa Clara County. It's just gotten out of control.
Mm-hmm.
It's not... I heard somebody else say this. I'm forgetting where I heard it, but it's not even social media anymore. It's basically, there are very few interactions on Facebook are with people that you are friends with.
Right.
Most of the content is advertising, scam advertising, as we've seen here, AI slop, which is all over the place, and people in the comments who clearly aren't realizing that it's AI slop. It's just a complete and total cesspool.
Yeah.
And so I understand that, Zuckerberg feels like he has a fiduciary duty to make as much money as humanly possible.
Right.
In my mind, he's just completely gone off the deep end and cannot plausibly justify what's happened to his platform. It goes beyond anything that we saw in 2016 with Cambridge Analytica because it's more fundamental than that. Like, he's been willing to turn the platform into the lowest common denominator of stuff. And I'm trying to break my Facebook habits.
Yeah, it's
but
awful.
You know I have a tough time quitting legacy social media sites.
I know. Shame on you.
Really, it is a shame on me.
So in the commentary I've seen about this, I've seen some raised eyebrows that it is a county that is going after Meta. I saw one person say, how would this play out? Would we go county by county? And then that's not really scalable. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, Santa Clara County makes sense. It has the resources to pursue this lawsuit. It's obviously where Silicon Valley is located. But it is interesting that it's the county. I mean, it also means that any potential relief in this case won't impact anybody outside Santa Clara County. The county is going to recover attorney's fees, and so that's a little bit of money going back into the coffers. It would force Facebook to put an end to these practices, which is good, but there would be no other tangible outcome that we'd see in other counties. Yeah, I think county by county, it would take too long. If Meta loses this case, the fear would be that when they're sued in some other county, you'd get in front of a different judge. It would be a different set of facts. And it would only be persuasive precedent from the Santa Clara case in another case in some other state court. So, yeah, it is kind of a risky way to go about this. Santa Clara County does have standing. I think they can raise standing based on the fact that they can easily prove that most Santa Clara residents use Facebook and that this is
okay.
I'm sure it's a violation of some type of consumer protection statute in California. So I think that's not going to be that much of a burden. But yeah, I mean, I think if I were to design a perfect lawsuit, it would be a class action on behalf of the 330 some odd million users of Facebook in this country, where all of us get like $10 for the slop that has controlled our timeline over the past several years. I'd even take a public apology from Zuckerberg, awkwardly sitting in front of a Senate committee or something.
Yeah.
But kudos to Santa Clara County for getting out in front on this.
Now, what ability would a judge in this case have to make Facebook change their ways?
It would just be an injunction where it would be like a court order saying that they have to do X, Y, and Z to get rid of these scam advertisements. And then the court would monitor Facebook's or Meta's progress in complying with the court order. So it's just kind of like any other injunction in which you are forcing an entity to do something. Either they do it or they'll face sanctions for not complying with a valid court order. So the court would certainly have the authority to at least try to enforce this. It's going to be really hard to enforce because Facebook is just it's like the Milky Way at this point. Like it's so nebulous. It's so large. We don't know exactly who its user base is anymore. So much of it takes place internationally. So it would be hard to enforce, but at least it would force Meta to have to try to enforce it.
Let me ask, so could Facebook come back and say, hey, good news, no one who lives in Santa Clara County will have to worry about this anymore. We've geofenced them and they're going to be scam-free.
Yeah, and then you're going to start to see suits from other counties.
Right. Okay.
So they probably don't want to do that. Now, Santa Clara County, like I said, a wealthy county, they have the resources to do it. A lot of counties don't, but a lot of counties do. I'm sure the San Francisco district attorney would be happy to pursue this.
I see.
If they think that they could be successful. San Mateo County, part of Silicon Valley is in San Mateo County. Maybe they file their own lawsuit.
Right.
Eventually it starts to pile up and that's going to cost real money. So I think that solution would be too clever on behalf of Meta. I think the only way to definitively solve this problem, which I don't think they're going to do, is to actually crack down on scam advertising. But because it's such a center of profits for them, like, absent them losing this case, like, they're just not going to stop.
If you're the judge here and you look at a company like Meta and you see that they have a history of coming at these sort of things with bad faith, right? And, not complying with past orders and just doing everything they can to try to circumvent these sorts of things. How do you come at that if you're a judge? How does a judge come at that when they know the person that they're saying, they're putting this injunction in? You just have to put very specific and strict checks and guardrails in there?
Yeah, so for the purposes of the actual judgment, whether Meta wins or loses, courts are not supposed to take into account propensity to commit certain acts.
Okay.
You're supposed to judge every case independently on the merits. Now, there are a lot of exceptions to that. Any evidence of like a particular habit or a modus operandi that could be a scenario in which they would permit that type of evidence.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the enforcement, I think the judge could put significant guardrails on the enforcement part of the decision, assuming that the plaintiffs win the decision. The judge could say, I know Meta's history of evading court decisions, and our monitoring is not going to be the monitoring we use for other cases. Like,
I see.
We're going to commit resources to this, whatever the equivalent of the U.S. Marshals are for Santa Clara County. Like, they're going to actually go in and make sure that this is being enforced. So, yeah, I mean, I think that definitely factors in. We don't know who the judge is that they've drawn, and that might make a difference too.
Okay.
If it's a judge who spent any time on Facebook in the past couple of years, then they're going to be out of luck.
Right. It is just remarkable how bad Facebook has gotten. Just flagrantly bad.
Right. And like, for those of us who are in on the ground floor, it had problems. My freshman year of college was the first year of Facebook.
Okay.
So I'm old enough to remember when you'd put what dorm room you were in, and you could click on that and figure out who else was living in your dorm room.
Okay.
Obviously, it was going to expand from there, and there were going to be a lot of changes as they tried to scale up. It got to a point in the early to mid 2010s where it was incredibly ubiquitous. Our parents started having Facebook and using it, but it still wasn't what it is now, which is just like pure slop. Any means necessary to grab your attention, even if it's scam advertising, even if it's clickbait, even if it's AI junk that's very obviously some type of deep fake. Like, there seems to me to be an anything goes philosophy that as long as they're making money and people are still going to the site, as you love to quote Lily Tomlin, we don't care.
Right,
we don't have to.
Company, we don't have to care. Yeah, I think the thing that bugs me the most is just how aggressive they are with it. Like, if I'm checking Facebook and I don't know, an ad for a lampshade comes by, and I make the mistake of pausing over that ad for more than a millisecond.
Oh, they know.
It's all lampshades from here on out, because obviously I'm in the market for a new lampshade.
Right? What happened to me is I made a terrible mistake of spending more than 10 seconds on a video of Punch the Monkey.
Oh!
Which I love that story. It was really cute. I should have just watched it on YouTube.
Poor Punch. Yeah.
I know. It's.
So now you've got all primates all the time?
It's insane. And most of it is very obvious AI content of like gorillas being born, and I can't even describe how bizarre it is. And I've tried to like report these videos. Like, I'm not interested in gorillas or chimpanzees.
Right.
Like, please stop sending this to me. Still get them.
Yeah.
Again, this is largely my fault for still being on Facebook. So
yeah, I was off of it for about 4 years.
Oh, and, good for you.
But I legit missed out on things. The thing that made me come back to Facebook was an old friend of mine got married, and I had no idea they got married.
And that is really the rub here. I want I don't want to have to call members of my high school or college class to know everything that's going on. I love seeing when people I knew had children or got married or had some major accomplishment in their life. And in theory, I think that's what Facebook was best for.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we should all pivot to LinkedIn. Maybe people can start.
No.
No.
Okay,
LinkedIn. That's the worst solution.
I mean, talk about your lateral move, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, that would be terrible.
No, look, you could say, I mean, there's the argument for platforms like Mastodon that have no algorithm, right? So it's harder to get up and running and get a feed that you want because it's all manual.
Right.
But once you do, it's wonderful because there's no algorithm.
Right.
But it's harder for, non-technical people to do that. So you're stuck.
You are stuck.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of time and commitment when over 20 years, people have been building up their Facebook presence. Like, they have hundreds, if not thousands of friends that they're following, and they already have a presence, and Facebook already knows so much about us.
Yeah.
It makes us, regret in 2006 posting what our favorite music was. If we had just gotten out on the ground floor, then none of this would be happening.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like, there was that whole generation that I guess my parents and a little younger than my parents, people who grew up in the 50s and 60s, how much they were smokers, right? And everybody knew smoking was bad. Smoking was getting banned. It was harder and harder to be a smoker, but they're hooked. And it's really hard to quit. And I feel Facebook is kind of like that.
Totally.
Where, most of the people I know who are on Facebook hate Facebook and would love to have an alternative, but they're stuck.
I think that's a great parallel because, I know it's bad for me. Everybody who I speak to knows it's bad for them, but it is addictive. It's really hard to quit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Maybe they need to invent a patch that we can put on our arm.
A Facebook patch.
Yeah, dissuade us from.
Every time you log onto Facebook, you get a little nauseous or shock. Or that's right. That's
a Facebook dog collar.
Right. All right. Well, we will have a link to this story in the show notes. We would love to hear from you. If there's something you'd like us to cover on the show, please email us. It's caveat@n2k.com.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
And that is our show, brought to you by N2K Cyberwire. We'd love to know what you think of this podcast. Your feedback ensures we deliver the insights that keep you a step ahead in the rapidly changing world of cybersecurity. If you like our show, please share a rating and review in your favorite podcast app. Please also fill out the survey in the show notes or send an email to caveat@n2k.com. This episode is produced by Liz Stokes. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. The show is mixed by Trey Hester. Peter Kilpie is our publisher. I'm Dave Bittner.
And I'm Ben Yellen.
Thanks for listening.
There's a new way to Sweet Green. Meet Wraps. Handheld, hearty, and made for life on the move. With bold, chef-crafted flavors, fresh ingredients, and over 40 grams of protein, they're built to satisfy without slowing you down. Try Wraps today in the app or at order.sweetgreen.com. Available at all participating locations.
Previously, attackers broke into systems. Now they're chaining identities together to move through your environment unnoticed. We recently spoke with Justin Kohler from SpecterOps about how attackers are exploiting common identity configurations across today's hybrid environments. Attackers are compromising one account and moving on to the next until they reach the administrator access and high-value targets thereafter. And with AI, these attacks are becoming cheaper to execute and easier to scale, putting more organizations at risk. If you want to understand what identity attack path management looks like and why it matters for defending modern environments, listen to our full conversation at explore.thecyberwire.com/SpecterOps. That's explore.thecyberwire.com/SpecterOps.